My name is Robert Miller. I'm the CEO of Abakan Inc. We're a RedChip company, and this presentation for the virtual conference will go through our 41-point slideshow. On that, we're going to go fairly slowly through the start and skip most of the middle and get to the meat at the end of it. Right now, I'm on the midst of a 5-country, 3-continent, 2.5-week tour, so this is being filmed from my hotel room with not a lot of preparation, although we do know the story well. Abakan took control of an R&D company from Euclid, Ohio. That's just by Cleveland. We've, through its subsidiaries, we design, develop, manufacture, market advanced nanocomposite materials and large area metal application processes that protect various metals, primarily steel, and to maintain a longer life, which results in reduced refurbishment, replacement, and downtime costs. Our newest product lines, which are nearing commercialization, they coat or clad. Cladding is putting metal on metal. The interior of steel pipes used in the oil and gas industry. Our production facilities are significantly less expensive to build than a plant of similar capacity. This is due in part to the fact that our manufacturing process is up to 40 times faster. Abakan's subsidiary Mesocoat has been the recipient of dozens of awards. Some majors have told us we've won every award you can win. From just recently, this week, we announced we won the American Metal Markets. That's a 130-year-old metals magazine, one of their top awards. And earlier last year, we won the Wall Street Journal's 2012 Global Technology Innovation Awards. You'll see these later in the presentation, but we've won a lot of awards for basically being great new innovations, not just for protecting steel, but also for metal fabrication. The largest labs in the world, like the Department of Energy, Defense, and various Fortune 500 companies have independently verified our technologies. We provide documentation to these, verifying these tests. And basically what we're offering here is a better value proposition. That doesn't include the fact that we're green. We have a very small environmental footprint, but just the value of we're offering products that last 5, 10, 20 times longer and not much more in cost or sometimes at the same cost. I'll switch down on our slideshow here now. Go down on the third slide. This is basically in the company overview. We have typically what you'd see at the end of a news release is about Abakan or about Mesocoat or about PowderMet. These are just quick little 1 paragraphs on what we do. The fourth slide is our corporate structure. This shows the 2 primary prime subsidiaries of ours, the operating subsidiaries. We're forming subsidiaries right now in Brazil, Indonesia, and the Cayman Islands, with plans to incorporate more foreign subsidiaries. But the R&D facilities, Mesocoat on the left, PowderMet on the right, these currently Mesocoat is 72% owned, and we expect to be at 100% in the next quarter or 2. But underneath the Mesocoat and PowderMet are the various different categories of divisions we have, and they're different product types, which we'll discuss as we go down in the slideshow. This is a major point for our company. There's an urgent need for our products. Corrosion costs so much money, it's beyond being able to fathom these numbers. 2.2 trillion annually to the global economy. In other presentations of ours, we have like 40, 50 references to where we're getting all these numbers from, but that basically 2.2 trillion, the cost of corrosion comes from all over the place. Paints and coatings are a $100+ billion market. And the specialty steel and alloys, that's where we're formulating new composites and alloys. It's a $100 billion+ market. Basically everywhere, they're needing more corrosion. They're taking oil out of more corrosive, hot or under high pressure areas. The need to reduce energy costs by having lighter, stronger materials is growing and well recognized. And as we go through the presentations a couple times, I'll just point out some of the amazing things we're doing. In the oil and gas market, they say, this is a few years old now, but 70% of the world's remaining oil and gas reserves consist of heavy, high sulfur or sour oil. Also, in the case of natural gas reserves, most of the big natural gas reserves have either water or high CO2 contents, which makes the resulting hydrocarbon corrosive to the steel. And from that, you need protection on the cheaper carbon steel with more expensive coatings like nickel or stainless steel or other combinations. The numbers we're coming up with are very, very big. They're obviously looking like hockey stick numbers. And the bottom point here is that a relatively small plant that costs $20–25 million can throw $220 million in revenues. We don't use $220 million in our projections. We're using a number more like 80% of that, or $175 million. But you'll see that a small plant, as far as cost goes, can throw a huge amount of revenue of a higher performing product. So the opportunity here is, our mantra is, our products last longer. They've been tested to last much longer. In some cases, the 80 times longer life is to do with our thermal spray products, where they're used in abrasion, where we replace products like tungsten carbide. One of the reasons they're cheaper is the high speed. Our application system allows us to put on coatings much faster than our competitors' products. The higher strength, low weight metals are specifically what I mentioned. We would foam aluminum so that it's stronger than specialty steel. But the fact that it's so light doesn't make it cheaper, but as energy savings can save the extra cost in less than a year, and savings for the military uses are very large. When we're setting up new plants now in both Ohio, Brazil, and Indonesia, everyone's asking us, what are the potential environmental risks? We have very, very low environmental risk. We basically put down close to nothing. We have, for example, we say when we quench this hot steel with water, there's a little bit of iron oxide in our waste stream, but this is the industry we're competing against. The metals industry is one of the most toxic, polluting industries that exists on Earth. We have a pretty good patent protection, but we're increasing that now. $50 million has been spent already, mostly through the government, primarily. It's actually over $60 million, but that includes a lot of grants, awards, partnerships, and things like that. Recently, as I said, we won the American Metal Markets Stainless Steel Award. Other winners were ArcelorMittal, Nucor, and AK Steel, all New York Stock Exchange listed companies. From the Pipeline Industries Guild, we won the Subsea Pipeline Technology Award of the Year. That was given out a couple months ago in London. And as we sat at dinner, we heard all the horror stories of the problems they're having getting product for their coating their pipelines. Wall Street Journal 9 months ago gave us the top Manufacturing Innovation Award. Forbes stated that we were the top material science company or nanotech company, the most promising company in America on their list of most promising companies. And you'll see a whole list of other awards here below there. It's like I said, people accuse us of winning every award there is to win. We have great associations with Oak Ridge, Ames, Case Western in Cleveland is a great partner of ours. We've started a new development projects with the University of Akron, which is known to be a top corrosion studying university. We're switching now to slide 9, which is the thermoclad process. In that, you also can see our process on our website. If you go to media and then to videos, you'll see a very good description of how our system works for coating inside pipes. On slide 10, we're trying to get you the picture of how much faster we are. It's pretty obvious that if you try to paint a wall with a pencil versus a roller, the roller will win, and we are the roller. The next one is actually, instead of using a pencil, you see on the right, that's what's currently used. It's 0.6, 0.7 centimeters per pass on the lasers. It's welding, basically, laser cladding or welding. Ours is a lamp. We're not showing our true description of our lamp because we're trying to protect that as long as possible. We have patents on that and process patents, but we're also we're about to start developing a lot more work on the lamps to improve them further. Slide 12, we're just going through some of our product lines. This is not all of our product lines. It might seem like a huge number, and we are focusing on some of them more than others, but corporations are approaching us for all these solutions that are needed. And we don't have time to study that today, but basically there's a large number of applications. You can go into much more detail on our website, which is abakaninc.com. On slide 13, something I referenced earlier, we've had some very good results from international labs. We have further people testing our products. Like every week we're getting requests, and every month we're sending out samples to the ones we choose to work with. Since we haven't really talked about it to date, Cermaclad CRA is corrosion-resistant alloy. That's primarily for the oil industry. But the WR is wear-resistant coatings, and those are for not just mining, oil sands, heavy equipment, and other areas where there's abrasion. But we've gone through tests here, and we hope to come up with some pretty lucrative news release contracts, grants, and awards later on this year. On slide 14, the value proposition, again, is we're faster, therefore it reduces the size of our plants, therefore the cost of our plants. The speed also, we're not losing, we're actually gaining quality with our speed because the destruction to the substrate of the steel, the carbon steel, is less when you were able to pass over it faster. Performance is different in every application, but significantly lower corrosion and wear rates is our main claim to fame. There's other advantages like smoother surfaces. The cost, again, sometimes our materials are more expensive when they last more than 5 times longer. But all in all, our costs are equal with better performance. Now we're switching to PComp, which is a thermal spray. In the last materials for cladding, which is for wear and corrosion, we're using the same materials, slightly modified due to our, we powderize them and then add a few materials down at 0.25% of this and 0.25% of that. In PComp, we have new materials formulated quite differently, and you'll see the list here on slide 15 shows PComp T and S. These are for lighter materials for planes and where weight is important. W is where the W being tungsten is where you need strong protection from abrasion. Anyway, on these, our sales are increasing. We're increasing our production levels a great deal. I'll talk a little bit about that later. PComp is hard to pick up because our materials are so different, but you'll get a bit of a picture in the how we make these inner cores and 2 outer shells, and when it melts onto the steel, it's had a significantly better performance. Typically, it's just PComp when we get 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 times better performance. We're now about to go through 2 spider charts. These are for the airline industry. We're competing against, at the top, you'll see that the cost of the light blue material is just hard chrome. Hard chrome is being outlawed in most of the Western world for being hexavalent chrome or carcinogenic chrome. It's cheap, but it doesn't have a couple of significant qualities. You'll see in corrosion, the lines for the light blue come right into the inside, which means low performance. And if they need corrosion protection, their cost goes way up. So in its basic form, it might be cheaper, but it doesn't last as longer because it wears out much quicker. The next slide is a little easier to read. Hard chrome in this case is green, Again, the cost is low, but you'll notice that in corrosion, which is say at 1030 on your chart, the corrosion protection is close to zero comparatively to ours. The protection from abrasive wear is very, very low. And you'll notice that our product, PCOMP-W, which is tungsten, has great qualities in everything except for cost. So we're 2.5 times more costly, but we last significantly longer. So if there's anything involved like maintenance or downtime, once downtime comes into play, like pulling a string of drill string out of a 4-mile drill hole, you know, these are the ones that go down a mile and then across horizontally 3 miles, and you might have heard about it in the cracking world. But these, our product is getting huge traction here right now with the PCOMP-Ws. Here again is the value proposition. You can read this at your own time. The one I'd like to point out is the fact our products last longer because not only are they very, very wear resistant, which is strong, they're also ductile, which means they can suffer a bang or a bend or vibration or things like that. So being very, very strong and also ductile, it's called tough. And that's our main claim to fame. Again, and at the bottom, no hexavalent chrome, therefore environmentally friendly. This part of the presentation is about our other subsidiary, PowderMet. PowderMet is funded entirely by joint partners in the U.S. government. It's developing, I mentioned earlier, foaming aluminum. We also make hydrogen storage materials. We're making materials for long distance and transmission lines for electricity. And this company is profitable and working on a couple of amazing solutions. But at this point, we'll just skip down through these slides. Our management team of Abakan's job is to commercialize these products globally. And we have a really strong team. At the bottom, Stephen Goss has got an Order of the British Empire for helping British companies in Brazil and Venezuela. He's fluent in 5 languages, as it says. He's very useful for us there. Mario Madanich has operated himself in 30 countries. By the time he was 8 years old, he had 100 guys working for him. By the time he was 35, he had 300. He's run a plant of our competition before in Indonesia. Curtis Glasgow, who's the head of our PCOMP division, component repair and other things, he's been 25 years in the business and has worked for the 2 biggest thermal spray companies. Richard Burns has worked both in Brazil and the Orient before. On the next slide, slide 24, some of our advisors are famous people in their own fields. Damien Katecki was president of the American Welding Society. Morris Reed has clients all through the Persian Gulf and the former Soviet Union, the CIS countries. Now we're going to slide 25. These are addressable markets. We're going to go quickly through this due to a time issue. But the markets are very, very large. The order sizes are very large. I'm basically scrolling down now until we get to slide 37. And on slide 37 let me just get here first. This is our financial snapshot. In the text above this little chart, you see that we're only including revenues from Euclid and Indonesia and modest PCOMP growth. We've chosen lower numbers until we hit each individual product line. So this basically shows very strong growth, but only from a couple of plants. I think we've been conservative on our sales revenues, and we've been aggressive on our cost of goods sold. So I think we're being pretty responsible here. You'll see on the next slide, slide 38, what we're doing here is we're just going to basically putting in these first couple of slides up to plant 3. In plant 3 in our revenue projections, we're only showing 50 tons of PCOMP powder per year. But the overall prospects for our company, I haven't mentioned so far, but 18 of the top 20 oil majors in the world have approached us already, showing us their solutions, asking us to bid. Can we bid? When will we be able to bid? Our product line for the oil and gas industry is reaching, we've opened a plant and we're now testing it into coat 12-meter sections of pipe, whereas for the last year and a half, we've only been coating 2-meter sections of pipe. Once we get to that stage of being close on 12 meters, which we project to be the next 3 or 4 months, we think any one of a dozen majors will try and tie up our production, the capacity we're bringing on in Indonesia and Brazil, even though we haven't put that in our projections. Moving to slide 39, this is our stock chart. It would be convenient to say that our stock is backed off a little bit because of the downturn in the markets this second and third week of June. Basically, our stock goes up when we hit milestones. We have many milestones, major milestones that we can hit in the next couple of quarters. And you'll see basically what we're trying to do is be fully diluted at 90 million shares by the end of this year and 100 million shares fully diluted 3 years from now, meaning that will top out there. And if we can earn 50 cents to $1 per share after taxes, that could be done from just a couple of plants, not the number we projected that we're going to bring online. Our final slide that we're going through today is our summary slide. Basically, we have better materials, which perform better. Our markets are we're in 4 multi-billion-dollar markets where the average order size is large. Our setup costs or our plant costs are the lowest in the industry, significantly lower than anyone we can think of. We have a validated industry need. We have 18 of the top 20 oil companies already well aware of us, and some of them are helping us along, and others are waiting to see the other ones bite first. Our management team, I'd have to stress, we have a great team for setting up internationally. For example, in Brazil, we've been operating, 3 of us have been operating there for more than 20 years. We've been in 20-plus multi-million-dollar deals there. In Indonesia, we have 3 people on our team that are very experienced in Indonesia. We're setting up an island called Batam, and it's the best place to set up in the Orient or the Asia Pacific area. And lastly, we have a lot of people who are helping us, our sponsors, not only the US government, but multinationals, the national laboratories. And our numbers, as we progress, I think look very attractive to any investor. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and we'll take questions now.